All right. Are we seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you again for joining us. I'm going to quickly mute my teams over here on this side without no distractions. My name is Kelly Jewett Fernandez. I am the Vice President of Business Development at AISES, a citizen of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and I'm just really proud to work for AISES as an organization and work on this business development team who you'll be hearing a lot from today for sponsor and exhibitor orientation. I'm going to kick us off today, but before I do, I'll go ahead and just let you know that you do have the ability to unmute your phone, your devices and ask questions. We do have some time reserved later, and we do have a lot of content to cover during our 1 hour together today. And so we also encourage you to utilize the chat feature on Teams, as we've got several people kind of helping from the AISES staff helping to monitor the chat and answer questions there. Of course, if there's a question that's relevant to all folks, we'll reiterate that vocally at the end of the session today, and hopefully answer a lot of your questions as you prepare to come to the AISES National Conference and hopefully have a really wonderful, valuable conference experience. If you're not speaking, just please keep your phones or your devices on mute just to reduce any background noise. The session is being recorded, and so we will be sending that over through a link later on today or tomorrow, depending on how long it takes us to transition from the recording into a link. But once you receive that, you're welcome to share it with any other folks from your organizations who may be attending the conference, and have some of the, if we're able to answer some of the questions that you might have in preparation. The next slide. Okay, so for our agenda today, we'll be just doing a quick little welcome. We'll introduce you to the business development team, and I believe there's a few other colleagues from that oversee all of our event production and aspects, as well as our advocacy team that will be sharing some information later in the call today. But we'll go ahead in just a moment. I'll be asking all of the AISES folks just to say hello quickly. And then we'll provide just a very brief overview of AISES. We're really excited that this year we have a number of organizations and institutions that maybe are joining us for the very first time this year at the national conference. And so we'll spend just a couple of minutes giving you an overview of kind of what's been happening at AISES. We'll provide conference demographics in terms of who is registered as of today. We'll provide you an overview of the agenda. We have our partners at Convention Services of the Southwest who will be able to answer any questions related to shipping, receiving, booth, any of those sort of questions. So we have representatives from CSS on the line, and then we'll, as I shared earlier, we do have our colleague, Miss Lisa Paz, who is on, who will be sharing just a few kind of tidbits of information related to recruiting Indigenous students and professionals. And then of course, we'll have time for questions and answers, and we want you to be able to, ask any questions that you might have to our team today that will just help you be prepared for the national conference. Let's see.
Kelly, we can only see your first slide. We can't see your agenda slide.
Oh, okay. Thank you for noting that. Let's see. Pause for just a moment. It looks like I'm not as familiar with the Zoom platform, but let me see. Okay. Let's see. There. Now do you see agenda? Oops, you don't, because I'm not sharing my. There we go.
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. And then we'll move on now to the About AISES. There we go. Okay, so many of you who are familiar know that AISES is a national nonprofit organization. Our mission is to increase the representation of Indigenous people of North America and the Pacific Islands in science, technology, engineering, and math. We are a membership-based organization, and so we currently have over 7,500 individual members, and we work with 200 university chapters, over 200 PK through 12 affiliate schools. We have nearly 20 professional chapters, and then we have tribal chapters as well. And we proudly administer over 40 programs and events throughout the year that are focused on kind of three primary areas. One is student success, the other is career support and development, and the other is really helping to advance and create equitable and inclusive institutions and workplaces. And so some of our program highlights are, we have a National Science and Engineering Fair where we promote STEM research to middle school and high school students, and we work with educators to provide professional development so that they can support their students in preparing STEM research. We have academic scholarships, and this year we're so excited to award over $1 million in academic scholarships to students to help with their transition through college and to help them be successful as students in higher ed. We have multiple cohort programs where we provide just really a network of support for students and professionals pursuing different academic areas, such as, becoming a faculty member at a higher educational institution, or they may be interested in agriculture sciences or health and medical sciences fields. And so those are just some examples of the programs. Of course, our events are a really premier opportunity to really kind of learn a lot more about the AISES organization and to really promote both student success and career development. And so there is on the screen there, you can see we have a program priorities document, and it's also linked. And so when we send out the slide deck, we'll be able to share the hyperlink to this document that summarizes many of the other programs that we won't elaborate on today. I fear we have overlooked, or the slide with all of our team members has been omitted from the slide deck. And so before we go on to the national conference demographics, I'd love for folks from the business development team who work with many of you to please introduce themselves, starting with Alicia, and then Candace, and then Brianna.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alicia Mitchell, citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and I am the Director of Tribal and Government Relations here at AISES. So I do have the privilege of working with the federal partners and tribal entities, and so it's a pleasure to meet you, corporates that are on the call today, and I'll pass it on to Candace.
Hi, everyone. I'm Candace McDonough. I'm a Senior Development Officer here at AISES, and I work with many of our corporate partners and some of our educational institutions, and I also work on Winds of Change magazine. And very nice to have all of you here today, and I'll pass it on to Bree.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Starks. I am located here in Houston, Texas, so very excited y'all will be coming to my neck of the woods this year. I am the business development manager, so I help to just coordinate all of the deliverables for our sponsors and exhibitors. So, oh yay, someone else from Houston. So you probably received a lot of emails from me. I will be at the registration desk, so come say hi.
Thanks, Bree. Taylor?
Hi, I'm Taylor Knife Chief. I am the Business Development Coordinator. I am from the Navajo Nation, and I've been working with a lot of you, so it's really nice to see your faces, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you. Haley?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Haley Buzzard Hamilton. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation and a member of the Kickapoo Tribe in Kansas. I'm the, I believe, newest member to our business development team. I'm a business development officer, and I will hopefully be getting to know each and every one of you at the conference next month. And I'm also in charge of our Native Links Golf Classic taking place right after conference. And then also our Canada. Thank you.
Thanks, Haley.
Hello, my name is Ariela Apodaca. I am an executive assistant here at AISES. I am a descendant of the Navajo Nation, and I'm really happy to be here and meeting all of you.
Thank you. Catherine. Do you or is there anybody else from the special events team on the line?
I'm not sure if Michaela and Hope are. I can do a quick scan, but hi everyone. I'm Catherine Cristiano, Managing Director of Special Events. Our team, as well as development and everybody else at the organization, helps the conference get executed to the success that it does. But we certainly couldn't do it without all of you. So anyway, we are definitely here to help and support. You'll see myself and Hope and Michaela all around the conference, and certainly you know who you have contacts with at the organization. If they don't have the answers, they know where to go and we'll get it for you. So thanks for being here.
And then Lisa, do you want to say hello? I know you'll be chatting later and talking a little bit more, but
Sure.
yourself.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Lisa Paz. I'm a citizen of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma and also Comanche, and I'm the Managing Director of Advocacy for AISES. So excited to see everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And so I'm really glad that our team was able to take the time to introduce themselves. You'll see most of us at the national conference. We look forward to meeting you. And again, please don't, when you'll see several of us just at the registration table when you come and grab your badges. But if you see us bopping around the conference, please say hello. Definitely want to give a big shout out to Catherine and her team for just coordinating all of the logistics of the conference, from helping to facilitate the website development and the registration and the catering and all of the things. And so I'm really glad that she's able to be on this call today, because then if there are questions that she can answer, she's available to support. So moving on, I'm going to move my slide ahead and then hand this off to Bree to give you an overview of kind of where we are at the moment in terms of registration.
Yes, so as of today, we have 280 high school students and chaperones registered. Then we have 788 college students and advisors. Following that, we have 557 professionals. And then we also, for our exhibitors and sponsors, there's about 1,132 of you guys registered. And then we also have 49 elders registered. And so we do expect that these numbers will go up by the deadline. So we definitely just are encouraging people to get registered. And the next slide. All right, so know before you arrive. We also encourage you all to download the conference app. You can find it under AISES events in your app store. And then, as you know, like I said before, we need to have all of your team members registered by the deadline of September 20th, which is this Friday. And so we are hoping to not have to extend that. I don't know, Catherine, if that's something that we're looking at doing, but hopefully not. So we want to get everyone registered by the deadline. You may have received, you have received emails from either exhibitors at AISES.org, sponsors at AISES.org, and or Taylor or I's AISES emails. So those emails will have registration information for you. We also, if any of you would like your badges printed out, like your whole team's printed out, we can definitely do that. Just send us a request at exhibitors@aises.org and just let us know that you'd like one person to pick up all of the badges for your team. And then we do have, so the conference activities will take place at the convention center and then also at the Grand Hyatt. So there's two different places. They are very close to each other. And then that's also a link to the maps that will be hyperlinked when we send it out.
Thank you, Bree.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is for me. So I just wanted to go over and give you an overview of some of the sessions and activities that we would like to highlight. Of course, we would love to see all of you at the opening ceremony on October 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. Then followed up, there will be a State of AISES provided by our president, Ms. Sarah Echohawk. Then several of our councils, or all of our councils, will be meeting. So the Tribal Nations Advisory Council will be immediately following the opening. So that's at 11 a.m. in room 209 for our tribal leaders, tribal enterprises, tribal partners, sorry. And then the Government Relations Council is also on the 3rd at 1:45 in room 217C. And then the Corporate Advisory Council meeting is also at the same time in the room right next door. So I, of course, will be leading the Government Relations Council, while my colleague here, Kelly, will be handling the Corporate Advisory Council. Next slide. And then we have, of course, just some of the highlights that we'd like to take note of. And for the, I can't even talk today. Sorry, everyone. Some of the sessions in the events that we'd like to highlight, of course, is the networking suites, October 3rd from 5 to 7. So as you see already, October 3rd is one of our busiest days with everything kicking off. Not only the opening, but we have all of the business meetings, and then, of course, right into those networking suites. Then we have the gemstone reception, which is invitation only that evening from 7:30 to 9. The College and Career Fair, of course, is our big day on Friday, October 4th. We have our closing talking circle on October 5th. At 3:30, our closing banquet is something not to be missed again, October 5th, 6 to 8:30, and then closing out the entire event is our social powwow, October 5th from 9 to 11:30. Next slide. And as you see on that slide, we're having a fashion show at our closing banquet. So that is a first for AISES, and we're just super excited to offer that at our closing. And here are some sessions that we are highlighting that are will be delivered by our Corporate Advisory, Government Relations Council, and some of our partners. So on Thursday, October 3rd, there is the session Managing the Corporate Ladder Ascent. October 3rd, also by GRC, is hosting the Federal Employee Resource Group's Best Practices to Building Equitable and Diverse Workspaces. Saturday, October 5th, we have the AISES Student Leadership Panel that is in combination with both CAC and GRC, of course, with that's Government Relations Council and Corporate Advisory Council. And then on Saturday, the 5th, AISES CAC, ERG Best Practices. And then on Saturday, October 5th, there's also the Intertribal Corporate Networking Workshop. And again, our agenda is full with numerous sessions, all presented by folks like you on the phone. But we just wanted to highlight a few here so that you can kind of go through your agenda and highlight these sessions. Next slide.
Thank you, Alicia. And I just wanted to interject too and just say, like, as exhibitors and partners for the event, most everybody has full conference access to the conference. And so unless there is a special ticketed event like the professional members mixer or the Sequoia breakfast, like, we encourage you and welcome you to participate in all of the other sessions, activities, events. When you do complete your registration, you will indicate whether or not you plan to attend the closing banquet. That is important. We're really working to ensure that we are providing accurate catering amounts and that we're not wasteful, and that we are planning accordingly. And so as you complete your registration, or if you need to update your registration, and some of those questions, like if you'll be attending the closing banquet, please be sure to do so. And then if one of my colleagues, just because I'm like I said, I was having a little bit of issues with the Zoom and adding to the chat, but if you haven't already, please share the full conference agenda link in the chat. And then I think Candace was going to give us a highlight on what to expect for the College and Career Fair. Floor.
Yes, so the College and Career Fair takes place on Friday, October 4th from 9 to 4 p.m., which I'm sure you all already know. The ribbon cutting will take place at 9 a.m. And as you can see here, we have 316 booths in total and 115 interview booths. Box lunches will be available to all badged attendees attending the fair, so keep that in mind as well. We will be doing the networking game again this year. So when you have a meaningful, engaged conversation with an attendee, please let them scan the QR code that will be provided at your booth. And this will allow them to be put into a pool to become a prize winner for having the highest number of scans. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and move on. Is it Lori or Marcel or who's joining us and sharing just a bit of information from CSS?
I think we're both on the call.
Oh, hi, Lori. Good to see you.
Hi. I don't know what information you want me to share. Let's see what it says. Exhibitor move-in. On your slide, exhibitor move-in is October 3rd from 7 to 5. Move out October 4th from 4:30 to 8. Shipping and receiving, if you have the service kit, there's the information for the address for the advanced warehouse. And then you can ship direct to the show. You open up that service kit, it will tell you the dates and times that we're receiving shipments at both those addresses. As a reminder, any shipment that you ship to the show does incur drayage or material handling charges. So we will need that payment information on file, or you'll have to come and see the service desk before we will deliver freight to your booth. Make sure that it's clearly marked with the exhibitor name and booth number so that there's no delays. If you have any questions, let me know on that.
Very good, Lori.
Anything else specific that you want me to go over?
Thank you.
That's usually the big one is that, you know, shipping. For the island booths, if you do want your table and chairs, just come see me at the service desk to get those. We won't usually pre-drop those, but you get them if you want them. Just come and ask for them because we don't want to overload your booth if you have other stuff planned for it.
I'm just wondering why everybody is so calm. We're a week out. You guys are all together. Very relaxed.
I have a quick question, if that's all right. My name is Nicole.
Go for it.
Super quick. So, I'm sorry, maybe I missed it, but could you please explain, like, is there like a specific desk that we go to pick up our exhibits and everything that we ship to AISES? Will that be?
So if you ship to the show to either the advanced warehouse or direct to show site, we would generally just deliver that to your booth. So it should be in your booth when you get there, provided we have that payment information on file from you. So if you need help getting that into the system or placing that order, let us know. There's an email address there or a phone number. We can help you with that. That would be the only time that would delay us delivering to your booth. But as long as we have that payment information, if it's labeled correctly, it will be in the booth before the start of exhibitor movement.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And I had a question as a follow-up. I put it in the chat. In regards to the day of like the career fair on the 4th, we were planning to get there earlier to set up because unfortunately our team can't make it on the 3rd. Is that going to be a problem if we're already have all of our equipment with us?
So the show opens, hold on, let me get it in front of me. Show opens on the 4th at 9 a.m. This was actually a question for AISES. Generally speaking, CSS would be in that exhibit hall at least 1 hour prior to show open. So usually by 8 a.m. Any earlier than that or early access, AISES would need to authorize that and give us timing for that.
Yeah, we have this is Catherine. We have a time set that early set up between 8 and 9 that morning.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Be ready by 9.
And just to throw this out there, not that you may or may not need it, but we do always offer the service. If you're not able to set up your booth, we will have labor on site. You can always hire us to set up for you prior to you coming showing up.
I just want to share too, for many of you are probably familiar with working with Marcel, Lori, and team, but they've been serving as our decorator for I don't even know how many years, but they're very familiar with AISES, very familiar with the organization, and are just wonderful. And so any questions that you have leading up to the event around your booth setup and shipping, or when you get on site, you know, please just let them know. They'll be, you know, very helpful and responsive.
And you'll see us running around all over the place. So, but do go to the service desk. That's where you'll get the best help.
Hi, this is Catherine. Lori, can you do me a favor and drop in the email address and phone number again where folks can reach CSS if they have any questions? I'm seeing questions in the chat
Yeah,
about
it's on
shipping
the
setup.
slide that she has up there. So, but let me type it in the chat.
Yeah, so just a reminder to everybody, these slides will be shared out with you, so you'll be able to get this information at a later date in the next couple days at the latest. Thanks, Laura.
Sure.
Question, what are the additional shipping costs and setup costs? Is there hourly rate or the flat rate?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you one more time.
You said there would be additional handling costs for if we were to ship it to the venue. What are those additional costs for shipping to the venue?
Oh, handling charges? Yes, let me get to that page of the service kit. It's the material handling page.
If you're an exhibitor and
I'll give it to you to jump to. So page 82 of the service kit lists the rates. So we do charge based on weight with a per 100 pounds with a 200-pound minimum. So shipments going to the advanced warehouse are 130 per 100 pounds with the 200-pound minimum at 260. Shipments direct to the facility are 118 per 100 pounds, 200-pound minimum. So it'll be a $236 minimum charge.
Does that include the setup fees as well, or that just for handling?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Does
That
that
was
include
just-
the setup fees as well, or that just for handling?
That is just the material handling charge. The labor fees would be based on hours worked. And that is on page 76 of the service kit. The straight time labor rate, if you pre-order by this Friday, is $126.90 per hour. We charge per half-hour increments with the 1 hour minimum. If it's in overtime hours, it goes up higher than that. So that would be based on the schedule and how much time you're needing, and that's per person per hour.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And for those that don't know, the CSS will be set up in the exhibit hall. They will have their own service desk there, not where the registration is at.
Right, we'll be in the back of the exhibit hall.
Yeah, and the exhibit hall is located really very closely to the registration table. And so I was seeing some questions around like badge pickup. The check-in badge pickup will be open on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so if you just arrive on, Friday, you're welcome to come and grab your badge at that time as well. Are there any other questions specifically for Marcel and Lori, Convention Services of the Southwest?
Hi, this is Tina. I do have one quick question. Regarding the booth setup, if we have someone that's helping us that's not registered for the conference, is that okay that they can come in and help set up?
It depends on who it is. Lori, you want to field that one?
Yeah, I can try. I know that exhibitors will hire outside labor companies to come and help them set up. As far as if it's like another person from your company, I don't know how strict security is, if they would let you come in for setup and then not for the conference. That would be a question for AISES. We allow outside labor companies, as long as we have a copy of their certificate of insurance. If they're an employee of your company, they would be covered. We wouldn't need anything additional on that. But AISES would need to tell us whether or not they are going to let them in the exhibit hall without a registration or conference badge.
Okay, so maybe send a question to that email then that's listed on the screen.
To the ESR email?
Yeah.
You can. I'll just forward it to AISES. I'm not AISES, so it would be the same answer.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Tina, just reach out and let us know. We do have security and we are requiring badge badging for everyone to access specific events and sessions and that sort of thing. But we can
Right.
certainly like figure out accommodation to help, especially on Thursday during that booth setup, and then Friday after for closing to accommodate any support that you have. So yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Especially my spouse.
Yeah.
So he's coming along with me. So he was just going to help set up and break down. So I just wasn't sure what that process looked like.
Yeah, and just a FYI for everybody else, if you do have another, we call them exhibitor appointed contractors. If they are coming in, just follow the rules in the service kit that pertain to exhibitor appointed contractors. And there will be some information about how to go about getting them cleared to get in and work on the show floor.
Okay. Thank you.
I also have a question. Just to confirm that if materials are shipped to the conference after the conference is over, will it be shipped back?
So it would depend on where you're shipping it to and when it arrives. So if it's, our best practice would be if we notice that it's for a show that has already passed, we would do our best to just refuse that shipment. And that would be at both the warehouse and show site. Once we leave the conference, we're not at show site, so we can't promise that the show site would actually refuse that shipment. So if they do receive it, generally speaking, they would email us and say, hey, we have the shipment that we received. What do you want us to do? In which case I would email the exhibitor and ask, do you want to send me labels to send to them? We do our best to get it where you need it to go if it arrives late. But it does depend where it shows up and when it shows up.
The key to that is letting us know as soon as possible.
Because if we do know ahead, we can notify both the warehouse and show site, hey, this is on its way. Please accept it. We'll send you labels, or please refuse it if you can. And then when we refuse it, the carrier would usually contact the shipper to find out where to go to, where it needs to go to next.
I think my question is more so for like banners, for example. Let's say we ship in banners, and then after the conference or the career fair is over, will the company ship the materials back to us?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it doesn't arrive late. It shows up on time. You use it for the conference and then outbound shipping. So yeah, the outbound shipping process, anything that you want shipped out, you would want to schedule your carrier to pick up during those move out times. We will have a show carrier. So if that's your preference, I'll have a representative on site and they can help coordinate that. If you're using your own carrier, it's highly recommended that you pre-schedule that for the pickup. Our show carrier, I will schedule that pickup for that Friday night. So everything does need to leave the floor. We can't leave anything there. So everything does get shipped out that night.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Just one more question regarding that. If for the ship out location, can you give us that address so we can schedule it?
Yeah, that's going to be the facility address. So on the shipping information page, it's the direct address, and I can read that to you. I can put it in the chat right now for you.
Perfect. And then so we'll just put it in there and they'll know exactly where to go. If for example, if we're using credits. Okay.
Right. You'll schedule the shipment during the move out time frame for your carrier. If you use the show carrier, I'll handle scheduling that and we'll get that on its way. But yeah, it's gonna be the Towers of the America Way, the dock area address. I'll get that typed in here.
Lori, this is Tony with Sandia. Quick question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, so will you pick it up from the booth, or do we have to like shuffle it to an area at the exhibit hall for you all when we're done with the event and we buttoned everything back up? Do you want us to move it somewhere where then it'll be picked up by the courier that you guys are working with, or are they going to go by where our booth is at, collect up the shipping container and move it from there?
So what you'll need to do, we'll be on site at that service desk, and at some point during the show or prior to move-in, you'll want to come and pick up what we call a bill of lading. You'll complete the bill of lading with the address, company name, booth number that you're in, where it's going, piece count. You'll fill all of that out, and we'll help you through that. You'll you'll bring that back up to the service desk. You leave your items packed and labeled in your booth, but you have to turn in that paperwork because that's where I know what carrier is expected for you, where the items are located and how many pieces I'm loading. And then we go to the booth, pull that out, load that with your carrier.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And any carriers that don't show up, so like I said, everything's getting shipped out. So if your carrier doesn't show up, we'll load it with our carrier, and we notify you with your tracking number on, you know, that it's leaving via a different carrier and how to track that.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, there was a question just regarding the badge scanning devices. If you don't have one included with a sponsorship package, there's an option to go ahead and kind of prepay and order the badge scanning through this exhibitor service kit, or there will be a help desk on site where you can go and pick up a badge scanner. I recommend you pre-order that through the exhibitor service kit. We are not coordinating a special outbound setup for SACNIS shipping from AISES conference to an additional conference. I would just recommend to work with CSS and coordinate any with them. We will have some more time for Q&A, but we want to pause there and move on to the next kind of section of our presentation, which will be a brief kind of tips and insights on attending the conference. And then we will have another 10 minutes or so at the bottom of the hour or the top of the hour to answer any other questions that you have. And if Marcel and Lori, it looks like Lori's at a show today, but if you're not able to stay on, we can go ahead and filter other questions related to the career fair and your services directly to you following. And so you're welcome to continue to put those questions in the chat, but for now we'll go ahead and transition to the next topic for the orientation today. Thank you so much. All right, Lisa.
Yes, hi again, everyone. I'm Lisa Paz, Managing Director of Advocacy for AISES. Unfortunately, my teammate Stacy could not be on the call today, but so she sends her regrets. I just want to chat with you a little bit about, well, number one, how excited we are for you all to be at the conference. And I'm going to kind of go quickly and not read through every bullet point on the slides I've got, because I know you may have more questions, more technical questions. Mine is less technical here. So we just want to make sure you really enjoy yourself at the conference, and you that feel free to participate as, you know, just an attendee. Attend anything you want. Everything's open aside from the ticketed events, which you can purchase tickets to. But we want to make sure you're really comfortable and know that you are more than welcome to attend things like the talking circle, the powwow, morning blessings. If you're interested, please do attend and don't hesitate about that. You're more than welcome. It'll be a great learning experience for you. You'll get to know our members and attendees. You'll get to know AISES, and people want to know you. So participating in all of these different events outside of the college and career fair is really encouraged, and we hope that you take advantage of that, along with all of the other networking opportunities. We really want you to be connecting with our Indigenous students and professionals while at the college and career fair, and really letting them know about all of the opportunities that your organization has. Keep in mind, though, we also have some non-STEM students and professionals that will be there as well, particularly many business students. So if you do have additional opportunities, please please share those as well, knowing that we do have some non-STEM attendees. And we also encourage you to encourage students to explore the idea of being mentored and mentoring. And we encourage you to think about being a mentor yourself, even if that is peer-to-peer with maybe somebody you meet there and wanting to work more with them. But really, we're trying to encourage our students to make sure they're having these connections with professionals out in the industry they're in, and we want you to be a part of that. You also represent the professional world, the corporate, the government, academic, and tribal professions. And we hope that you'll be just wonderful role models for our students there. They're very excited to see, the professionals in all of these different areas. And then there's lots of benefits for your organization. So you all are helping us, advance our mission, and that's to have all these opportunities for Indigenous people in STEM. And we just want to reiterate how we appreciate all of you so much. We're trying to provide like a one-stop shopping, and access to these amazing Indigenous applicants for you, not only through our college and career fair, but don't forget about, things like our app and our resume database, our job board, all of the networking pieces. So there's a lot of ways to get your connections, get your opportunities out to these applicants, and to make them aware of who you are. This is just such a great opportunity to be able to increase the diversity within your organization. We hope you are able to do that with us. We really want you to be able to share your corporate branding, talk about your organization, all of the opportunities, what it's like to work there, the benefits, talk about your ERGs. And we really want you to be able to share that and have this really great presence. Wear your logoed shirts and have stickers and be able to share all of that with our attendees and make them know who your organization is. And it's a really great opportunity to make a difference. We hear so many stories every year of, a student got their first internship or their first job or even their first interview. And they're, just the pride they have in that, it really is life-changing. And so you're going to be a part of that. And we're so excited. So there are definitely some lessons learned that we want to share with you, particularly if you're new to our conference. Again, just making sure you participate in all the activities. That's a great way to learn about the AISES community and make these connections. And please just don't hesitate to participate. We really want you to be in all aspects of the conference. Please do respect non-assertive communication. So a lot of times Indigenous students are taught to, not ask too many questions or maybe not even make too much eye contact because that's disrespectful. They may be reading more of your material than asking questions directly. Please don't take that as they're not interested in your organization or they don't want to connect, but they just have less assertive communication than other conferences you've maybe been at. So please don't take it as not interested. That's just their way that they'll be communicating in some cases, not all. And please share, any organizational information you've got with candidates. What is it like to work there? What are different opportunities? What's your experience been at your organization? So they know more about what it's like to be in your position. And again, highlighting that corporate branding. What is it like to do you have ERGs? Which areas are you working in, not only regionally, but like industry wise, and really highlight all of anything you can about your organization in any of the places you're at during the conference. We also really encourage you to network with other exhibitors and professionals. I see a lot of repeat faces here. I'm so excited to see you all again. And so knowing that this is, again, very communal, very family, you're going to see these people again and again because we hope you're continuing to come back to our conference. So, it's a great time to network. Then you're more excited to come back next time because you're going to have some friends there on the college and career fair with you. So please do that. Go to our networking events. That's a great place to meet other professionals as well. And that just leads to building long-term relationships. We want to have that with you. We want you to have that within AISES and other members and partners. So please, we highly encourage that. A couple of don'ts, just assuming that all Indigenous people are the same tribe or nation. In the US alone, we have almost 600 federally recognized tribes, so that doesn't even include all of the other Indigenous members of AISES like Alaska Native, our Canadian family, Native Hawaiians. There's vast differences in some cases, and so we are definitely not a monolith. Don't assume a low GPA if it's not on the resume. And this kind of overall resume stuff, oftentimes Indigenous students are taught to be humble and not to, not bragging so much. So you may not see kind of the pumped up resumes that you do at other organizations that are really, kind of maybe even, saying a little too much about themselves. So if it's not listed on a resume, don't assume that it's either, a low GPA, something they don't have experience with or haven't done. They just, being humble is a big part of Indigenous culture. And so they may not have put all of their experience, all of the things they're proud of on, a document. Also, please don't view traditional dress as casual dress. You may see some people on the college and career fair with a ribbon skirt and a t-shirt and some big fancy earrings. Those earrings may be really expensive, and they may have made their ribbon skirt, and they're particularly proud, and they're bringing their culture and identity to this space. And we're really proud of that, and they're really proud of that. And don't assume that because they're not maybe in a suit with a tie or in a skirt and heels, that they're not a serious candidate. And please don't assume all natives live in the Southwest or on a reservation. Well, I am here in Albuquerque in the Southwest, and not all the natives live here. They are spread out all throughout the country, and we'll have some Canadians there as well. And so again, just trying to make sure we're not making blanket assumptions about our Indigenous attendees and where they live, how they live, any of that. And so then to go along with that, so you all know in the very near future, and actually we'll talk more about it at the conference, AISES is starting to do an Indigenous 101 series where we will bring information to your organization, and whether that be your leadership, staff, a combination, talk with you more about giving you some historical context, cultural context about what it's like to be Indigenous, the Indigenous people. So there's a deeper understanding in how you can recruit and retain Indigenous employees. So we're very excited to start providing this series. I'll have more information available. I will probably be at the registration desk most of the time, but also trying to connect with any of y'all. You're more than welcome to reach out to me at any point and ask questions about this, but we want to make sure that you all not only are very comfortable being in this space with us at our conference, but that you're ready to go back to your organization and provide this safe and supportive space for Indigenous employees as well. So thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing all of you. And yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be on for the rest of the for this meeting, and then please feel free to reach out at any point.
Thank you, Lisa. And I did see a note, a question just around like attire. I mean, typically we are business casual, business professional, and traditional professional or Indigenous professional is kind of like what we guide and encourage all of our attendees as well as our partners to dress. And so while the gemstone reception is late in the evening on the first day, I would, there are groups and individuals that come in, slacks and a polo. Or in a more professional or attire. And so really there's a wide range, but we would kind of recommend business casual, business professional, and Indigenous professional kind of as the wardrobe themes. And also one thing that we haven't mentioned before, and if you haven't come to an AISES National Conference, we will have multiple artisan vendors at the conference. And so if you're interested in doing any shopping to bring items back for family members, for colleagues, if you're Christmas shopping early, please be aware we'll have multiple vendors there with jewelry and clothing and other artisan crafts and products at the national conference, and always really, really, really fun shopping if you can, spare a few moments to do that. All right, thank you so much, Lisa. And I did share Lisa's contact information in the chat. And as she noted earlier, she will be there on site. And so if you have questions just about the Indigenous 101 training, or if you would be interested in getting more information about how you could bring AISES to your company, your college or institution, your federal agency for some more training specifically around Indigenous people, histories, current events and issues, and then around Indigenous STEM and recruiting, we'd be, happy to work with you on doing some professional development and training in your organization. Moving on, I believe Alicia is going to talk to you a little bit about just some final kind of things to share around how you can spread the word about participating in the conference and whatnot. We'll highlight some of our future events, and so you can mark your calendars now, and then we'll have time for Q&A. And yes, as a reminder, we are recording the session. We'll send the link out as well as provide a PDF so you can go ahead and disperse it within your organizations as appropriate.
Thanks, Kelly. Yes, so we have an incredible communications team now at AISES. If you follow us on our social media, so they have developed a AISES outreach kit for our events. So we just ask that if you like to explore the outreach kit, let your community, let the AISES community know that you're either proudly sponsoring the AISES National Conference, or you may be presenting at the AISES National Conference, or join us. So this outreach media kit provides a lot of information, hashtags, and ways that you can just really get the word out to your colleagues or your just your social media. So yeah, here's just some more examples again that are provided within that outreach media kit, and ways that you can just really put the word out and let everyone know that you will be joining the AISES National Conference in 2024 in San Antonio. So I know recently I spoke at the Indian Gaming Conference in Oklahoma and posted these, used their media kit and posted it on my LinkedIn, and it got a lot of traction. So we just invite you to do the same when you travel out to AISES. Next slide. And looking ahead, so yeah, we have the Canada National Gathering. I love our graphics. We have an incredible team of, in our communications team, like I said. But in 2025, we do have the dates secured. It's in Toronto, Ontario, March 6th through the 8th. Then our next event to mark your calendars for is the NASEF, which is our National American Indian Science and Engineering Fair, in partnership with OSU and Stillwater. That is scheduled for March 28 and 29. And then our regional conferences, as we've been mentioning, we're moving to combine those, or looking to combine those in 2025. They've grown substantially. So we're looking at doing a north, a south, and an east region. Those dates and locations are still to be determined. More information to come on those. And then, of course, our 2025 National Conference is secured and scheduled for October 2nd through the 4th in Minneapolis. Next slide.
I think that wraps up our the slides with information. We've got a thank you for partnering with us, but we also want to just pause and allow this time to for any questions. And so it looks like our team, Michaela, who spoke up a little bit earlier, works directly with Catherine on the events team, and she's been answering questions as well. So thank you, Michaela. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself formally. If your question has not been answered in the chat, please feel free to just unmute your mic and ask any questions that you have related to just the overall conference, any preparations that you need to be aware of ahead of time, or if there's any questions, feel free. This is a kind of, we've got 5 minutes technically, but our team can stay on a little bit longer if you have any, specific questions. And then we'll also make sure that we share again in the chat right now our contact information, so you can reach out via email with any specific questions that you have. I think one of the most important things we really want to reemphasize is that registration will be closing on Friday, the 20th. And so please make sure that you register every single person that's attending the conference. They need to have a badge to have access. And so if your organization, your university registered as an exhibitor, that doesn't mean that you are registered as an individual to attend the conference. And so please look for those emails that you would have received from Taylor Knife Chief, from Brianna Starks, or from the email addresses of sponsors@aises.org or exhibitors@aises.org. Check your junk mail, because we have learned that some of those went into junk mail folders. But in the emails, you would have received a code or a special link that allows you to register your staff or yourself with no additional registration fees or anything associated to that. And so you'll want to use that link unless you want to pay for a separate registration, but most of your packages did include multiple full conference access passes. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking, and then just please feel free to chime in with any questions that you might have.
So I had a quick question. Oh, go ahead, Angela.
Thank you. So I did post this in the chat, but I didn't see a response to it. So I'm local. I'm here in San Antonio. And so I'm not shipping stuff because I'm right here. But how, is there a place I can do a drop off at the convention center just to bring stuff in? Because I will probably be doing it myself.
I would think that if you go to the back end of the exhibit hall, and I can't remember what street that's on, but there is a security desk back there. There's a single lane road that goes back in there. If you check in with security, they would most likely let you in long enough for you to unload your vehicle and get your equipment to your booth and then get your vehicle out of there. That's the way it worked last time we were there. We will set up something with security when we get there for any local people or any POVs that need to be unloaded. So I'm sure that service will be available and you'll be able to unload yourself.
Wonderful, thank you.
But on that, you will not be able to use any like of our wheeled equipment, carts or dollies with that service. So you would just be hand carrying that in.
But I can bring my own dolly, right?
Yeah, bring your own equipment. Just don't bring any forklifts.
Certified, certified.
I have a question. What time on Friday, like what time of the day on Friday do you need all the names? Is
I
it
believe registration will be closing at midnight. Catherine can.
Yeah, I'm just checking what time zone. Hold on one sec.
And Marky, great question. If you're interested.
Midnight at Central.
Thank you.
I also wanted to mention there was a question about the future conferences. So we're in Minneapolis, Minnesota next year, October 2 through 4.
Yep. And then in 2026, we have not officially posted or finalized the information for that. And then in 2027, we'll be in the Denver area in Aurora, Colorado at the Gaylord out near the airport. So we'll be in Minnesota and then to be announced probably at National Conference for 2026 and then 2027's in Denver.
To answer the question, the registration is 11:59 Central Time, that deadline on Friday.
Got it. Thanks.
My apologies. If any correspondence has gone out about a raffle, but there's going to only be a centralized raffle. We cannot do individual raffles at our booths.
I think you can do it individual. Yeah, because we've had in the past. So if you have, like if you're badge scanning or if you have, a place where for students and professionals to drop their business card or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. If you manage that. And so if you collect contact information, phone number and email, and you then will follow up with a student. Yeah, absolutely. I don't believe that we have any restrictions related to doing some sort of incentive or drawing at your individual booths. But if you do, we will have lots of prizes and opportunities for students and professionals receive like awards and prizes at the college and career fair, but also by completing evaluations for different sessions and being active on the AISES National Conference app. And so if you do have interest in still donating a prize, please feel free to bring it to the prize booth on the college and career fair floor on Friday. And we'd be happy to help ensure that it gets in the hands of a student or professional that's having a good conference experience. Catherine, sorry to tell you off of mute if there was anything else to add.
No, the prize booth number is 501. It's at the front of the exhibit hall. Yeah, thanks.
Dion, do you have a question?
Yeah, I guess this is for either Brianna or Taylor. Regarding the hospitality suites, is there able to use those suites? Is it just restricted to that 5 to 7 p.m. time frame? Or can we get in a little early?
This is Catherine. Sorry, Bree, I'll jump in for you. The space I have requested from the convention center that the space be ready at noon. That means that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that will happen. I'm trying to have a final meeting with them later this week. But yeah, I would say to be safe, you could definitely get in there by 3 o'clock.
Copy that. Thank you. That's it.
One thing I wanted to add, and I'm not sure if, I don't think it was mentioned, but we are having a wellness activity day on Friday and Saturday morning. One is sponsored by the FBI, and the other one on Saturday, I believe it'll be an exercise for, we're bringing in somebody that's doing a jingle dance exercise. So that's going to be something to definitely check out if you guys are looking to find something to get your morning going.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm also located in Texas, and so my family is able to come with me to this, which is amazing because I am still breastfeeding. Is there any way that I can talk to somebody about accommodations for that? Just it's a little bit more convenient to have the baby.
Hi, Suzanne. Let me find out. I think we have a nursing room available,
Awesome.
But I'll find out what that is, and I'll make sure that they know at the registration desk, and they'll let you know then.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Catherine. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Sarah from Coast. I apologize, I'm driving, so I'm sorry if I'm speaking over someone. I know in the exhibitor kit there was a page for requesting or ordering power supplies like cords and things like that. Is there power at the booths regularly, or do we have to go through that order form? Thank you.
Marcel?
A basic electrical is not included in your booth. You do need to order that from the electrical provider.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll still stay on for more questions, but before many of you, I'm seeing that lots of folks are leaving the chat now. I just wanted to extend a sincere thank you to each and every one of you, to those that have come to the conference year after year, for those that if this is your first AISES conference, we, are pretty confident that it won't be your last, because AISES is truly just a wonderful, unique conference experience. We look forward to welcoming you to the AISES family. Like I said earlier, our staff is eager to meet and support you all in these weeks or days really leading up to the national conference and then on site. And so just want to thank you for being there. Thank you for your, investment in your booths and in the sponsorships. We could not do this without your partnership and support. And we are just elated that so many different organizations, from academic institutions and nonprofits and tribes and tribal businesses and so many various corporate and federal industry partners are joining us, and equally as excited for the opportunities that will be available to our student and professional members. And so thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you. We're going to stay online for a few minutes, but if you have no questions, feel free to drop off the call. We'll be sending all this follow-up information later today or first thing tomorrow morning, just depending on when we can get it converted.
Thank you.
I have a question. I think I typed it, but it got pushed up in the chat
you so
because of the
much.
flurry of questions. Someone mentioned that in part of your sponsorship package, it was possible that the scanner be included. How do we find out if it is?
All of the sponsors that are at a lapis level, lapis, coral, turquoise, jade, or medallion sponsor have that included. And so I'm not sure, I think that's Anna, and I'm not sure if I know exactly what organization you're with. And so if you want to just reach out to us directly, we can let you know if we have one reserved for you.
Sure. And my director signed us up, so I'll double check with him to see what his confirmation page says. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hey, this is Andy from 3M. I have a question. It seems like this meeting is wrapping up. Was that correct? It was on our calendar here at 3M to start at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's wrapping up, but we have recorded and we'll send it out to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, this is Bree with Helion. Quick question. Do we have to pay for non-freight shipping to be received?
Anything that we receive that goes through our receiving system, there will be a charge associated with it. So if you don't want to pay any receiving charges, you'll just need to bring it in yourself, carry it in through the front doors. And if you do have a POV, as I said before, we will be looking into finding out where the POV unloading area will be. And then you can check with us at the service desk or email one of us or call us, and we'll let you know where that POV unloading area will be.
Thank you so much.
Really quickly, what color is the drape for the pipe and drape behind the booths?
It's beautiful.
I'm sure it's stunning.
The drape is, there's 3 colors. It's black, teal, and plum.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, this is Angie. Taylor, I emailed you. This is regarding our registration code. And there was like I had to back out because there were some specific questions, that were asked, and I didn't have that information for my reps that are going. And it now won't recognize my email. It says I have too many login attempts and I have 3 attendees that are coming. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to reset that for me.
Yeah,
And then I'm just wondering, just based on like the questions that are asked, because some of them are personal potentially, or I don't want to assume that I know those answers of our reps. Is it better practice to send my reps that information and tell them to fill it out like ASAP? Or I just wanted to make sure I'm being really mindful of that, because I don't want to answer any questions wrong. And I saw that there were some specific questions in there.
Yeah, I can reset your account, and then if you could just forward them that email that I sent you, just so that they can register and answer all that information, they should, the discount code should work for them as well.
Okay, I will. And then is it okay to check back in with you on Friday to make sure they did register? Because then if not, what I was going to do was answer to the best of my ability that the responses to the questions in case they didn't do it, but I want to give them a chance to fill it out, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can check in back with me on Friday, and then I'll have that update for you.
Okay, thank you so much. Will you be emailing once you reset it so then I know when to send it to them to fill out?
Yeah, I'll send
Awesome.
it to you right after this.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. And this was really, really helpful. So thank you.
And Angie, if anything, if you have to fill out the information, honestly, they can go back in and modify the registration and answer the questions themselves. So
Okay.
you really need to get that submitted like right now. I would suggest just to fill it out right quick with whatever information that you know.
Okay.
Get it paid, and then they can always go back in and modify the registration to answer those questions correctly.
Okay. Maybe I'll do that because I worry about them not doing it. Just because people are busy. It's not because
Yes, Angie, this is Catherine with AISES as well. It's important to just get them in. We
Okay.
here and both teams, the development and the special events team, are fielding so many emails and questions right now. I think you want to be sure that they get registered. So like Michaela just suggested, register them the best of your ability and they can go in and fix it later.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and that because we paid for the registration that gave us 3 registrations. So I think, yeah. So anyway, but I'll as soon as Taylor resets that, I'll go in and just fill it in to the best of my ability and then let my people going know that they can, if they need to update any content, they can. Thank you.
Hi, this is Evan Lean, Melting Tallow. I just want to kind of piggyback on that too. I've also had a problem where the person who is exhibiting with me said had too many emails, just like the other person did. So we just email and then ask to have that reset. And I think
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Fastest way to do it, close the browser, open up a brand new browser. That's the fastest way to do it, because it doesn't, what happens is sometimes if you're like go to lunch and you still have it up and you're still using that same browser, it remembers what you did before. So that's the best thing to do, is just to close the browser, open up a brand new one, and then it'll reset everything. That's the fastest way to do it.
Okay, I also went through and work with that person. And then when we try to do the code on there too, we weren't able to do that. It would just shoot us to cost, and instead of just being an exhibitor, where we were able to have 2 seats for the exhibitor for the purchase of being there at AISES.
The system is so fantastic that if there's multiple attempts with the same email address or the same discount code, it catches it and calculates it as a registration. So it's important that folks are ready to register when they register, because it will take a minute for it to reset, or like Michaela said, closing a browser and reopening. So just give it another try, everybody. And if it's still having problems, reach out to the 2 different, Exhibitor at AISES.org or the conference at AISES.org, and we'll get to you eventually.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time. Definitely email us with any other questions that you have. We'll send this document out in a PDF form, as well as the recording of the video just as soon as it's converted. Just again, please make sure you register your folks. If you have questions or need help troubleshooting, just reach out to us, and we'll be keeping a close eye on all of our emails and responding just as quickly as possible. We ask for just a little bit of patience and grace, as we are getting lots and lots of emails and questions and phone calls in these days leading up to the conference. But know that we're prioritizing providing the best kind of support and services you gear up for your national conference experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, another quick question. I'd like to be so complicated. This is Marky from Boston Scientific. So we had one person sign up for volunteering events, but there are block of time frames for like the resume room that are like 4 hours long. Are we okay swapping people in and out of there?
Yes.
Even though they're under one name? Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Bye, Marky. See you in a little
few days. Bye. See you in a couple of weeks.